Nestled in the forested pastures of White River State Park in Indianapolis lies Marian University, the site of today's matchup at Senior Day between the Warriors of Indiana Tech and the Marian University Knights. It's Hoosier hysteria in Indy. And alongside Colombian women's national team head coach Rachel France, my name is Joey Lindstrom, and Rachel, today is a momentous day here at Marian. Not only the first lacrosse broadcast for Marian University, but it's also Senior Day, and Marian has never defeated the Indiana Tech Warriors. How do you suspect that could change today?
Oh man, Marian has shown a really strong show at home this season especially, and I think with Senior Day, we have 4 really strong seniors, 3 of which who are returning for a 5th year next year. They've got their whole families together. I know Grace Martin's family flew all the way in from Florida for this game. Energy is going to be high. Spirits are going to be high. You can see them dancing on the field already, getting pumped up for this game. I think we're going to see some really, really high-class performances from both teams.
Marian is coached by Allie Stork-Sneed in her 2nd season, 16-14 overall since she took over the program. Last year, 5-11. Now this year already 8-3, 3-1 in conference. She has become such an accredited coach, but the team has really bought into what she has been selling for them, and that's a big reason why they've had so much success.
Oh yeah, and even just reading through like the Senior Day little snippets from our 4 seniors graduating, they all just absolutely love this coach. And when you get on the field or even watching on the field, you can see her passion, and you can see that she instills that passion in her athletes for the game and just for like good sportsmanship and being out there and having a good time.
For Indiana Tech, they are coached by Alexis DiGiovanni. Her 5th season at Indiana Tech overall. She was also a player there. She scored over 100 goals in her career, won the WAC championship. She's trying to bring some of that pedigree back to Indiana Tech. They have been receiving votes. They're 12th in the polls if you look at the nitty-gritty. What do they have to do? What do they bring to the table for this team?
Oh, Indiana Tech is always a very, very strong competitive team. They have just a tenacious set of athletes there. All of these athletes are strong, they have high levels of endurance, and they are hungry. When you look for a team that really wants to be there and win, you think of the Indiana Tech Warriors.
AAA Roofing, when it rains, it pours, so trust the pros at AAA. That's who we call. We will be right back after our national anthem. You are watching NAIA Women's Lacrosse in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference on ISC Sports Network.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
The minute I stepped foot on campus, I didn't want to leave.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I'm a business major.
I love Marian University.
An exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
You have enough on your plate. Let McAllister Rentals' wide selection of equipment help. With an extensive equipment selection and experienced people, McAllister Rentals in the Cat Rental Store is your one-stop shop for all your equipment needs. You know we can help you with the big jobs, from moving dirt to getting you in the air. But did you also know that we can handle your smaller equipment needs with equipment like generators and water pumps? McAllister Rentals has made its mark with locations throughout Indiana and now Michigan. We pride ourselves on our reliable equipment, fast service, and knowledgeable people. Visit us online today or give us a call. McAllister Rentals, helping build Indiana since 1945.
Welcome you back to Marian University, where the Knights and the Indiana Tech Warriors are set to do battle here in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. Marian placed comfortably at 3rd in the WAC, and Indiana Tech just right behind them at 1-2 in the conference in fourth. And today would be a big win for either team. We mentioned in the open, Rachel, if you look at both these teams from a surface level, they seem very even, relatively close when you look at their styles of play, their stat rankings. Marian has the edge over Indiana Tech in a few categories, particularly in caused turnover. Second in the country are the Knights, and that might come up huge today.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, this team, both teams are very hungry and very aggressive. I think where we see Marian's strengths are specifically in the midfield. They're able to get a lot of caused turnovers in the midfield before it even gets to the defensive end, which is huge. That saves your defense a lot of energy, so they're not constantly getting a lot of action down there, and you can force that turnover, get it into the offensive zone, and continue that attack.
At the draw today, Grace Martin will face off against Abby Wilson. Both these two players accredited and very, very experienced. Both seniors. Abby Wilson, this is her graduate year. She has 22 draw controls on the year. Grace Martin on the opposite end, a senior out of Evansville, Indiana, over 25 draw controls as well, and a captain of 3 years for this team. And we are off here at St. Vincent Field at Marian. What are some keys offensively you're looking for Indiana Tech to take advantage of, Rachel?
I think Marian's defense, they often play a backer zone, which is a typical zone like you think of in basketball, but there's kind of like one extra person in the middle that is like a second defender. So then the person in the zone, in the pizza slice, gets to go play some defense. And that's, I think, where we also see a lot of caused turnovers for the Knights. But Indiana Tech is going to have to really work on some team play, some two-man play, making sure that they're moving the ball a lot to find those little gaps in that zone.
That's something, too, that Alexis DiGiovanni told us is we can't force ourselves into the hand of Marian. At the end of the day, they are leading. They are second in the country in caused turnovers. Another big reason why, as we get the interference there.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell both teams want it so badly right now. We're seeing hard fights to the 50-50 ground balls, hard fights in the midfield, looking for a caused turnover right here.
It's 60 minutes of pure mayhem for both these teams, and the longevity of both these squads. Haven't had too many injuries out of either team, and that's been huge for each of these teams because they're much better when they're healthy, of course, but they're not also super deep. I think when you look at Marian, maybe a little bit deeper than Indiana Tech, but regardless, the Warriors have a lot to play for today as well.
All right, and I think this is probably a deeper bench than either teams have seen in a while.
Yep.
Just with COVID numbers being a little bit farther down, I think this is huge for them. So if they do have those injuries, they do have a deeper bench and finding that backup.
Our first goal, Hallie Reinhardt. She was rolling around on the ground, gets herself out of some trouble, and rips it past Catherine Hirsch.
Yeah, you could really see her. She wanted that. She held onto the ball for a long time, had a few roll dodges in there, and just kept fighting to get around and get a shot off, get her hands free.
When we were prepping for this game, you mentioned that Indiana Tech was going to bring a lot of physicality. We saw Marian already pushing down Reinhardt, and she gets up, gets herself into a good position. You don't often see that. I feel like there's a lot of stoppages in women's lacrosse normally in a situation like that.
Right, and I think the refs this year are focusing on a lot of different things. The main focus this year is body contact on the back. They're really emphasizing not getting a stick on somebody's back, and that's allowing for a little bit more physicality on the front side of things. And I think that's why we were able to see that goal happen with the refs not making any calls for that.
Well, in front, another goal, back-to-back for Indiana Tech. That's Faith Donnelly, leads the team in goals and adds another tally.
17, Faith Donnelly.
Definitely some quick stick work from there, a good assist. She managed to find some opening between about 3 defenders there.
Junior from Hazlitt, Michigan. Lets it rip, 29 points on the season. She had 4 goals in their win against Bethel on Thursday.
Yeah, Yeah, she's definitely a player to watch. Always likes to find the cage and is gonna find opportunities no matter the situation.
The Donnelly sisters for Indiana Tech have been quite the benefit for Alexis DeGiovanni's squad. Jordan, defender for the Warriors. She's a player that makes an impact, and Faith, of course, offensively has created a lot of earthquakes for defenses across the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference so far this year.
Oh yeah, I mean any team that has a sister duo or a sibling duo, they have an advantage. They are used to playing with each other and can find each other pretty easily.
This is Marian's first true possession. Indiana Tech making it hard on the Knights. This is Caitlin Gray.
You can definitely see they're trying to control the pace a little bit.
Gray's got some space. Lets it through, and that's our first save, Sydney Oberdorfer. All seven games started for Indiana Tech. And she's got, only lets up about 9 goals per game, 68 saves this year so far. Make that her 69th. And Indiana Tech will try to clear.
I think having Sydney between the pipes for them is huge. Only as a sophomore, she already has a lot of experience, is a really strong keeper, and I think having her a couple more seasons is really going to benefit the Warriors here.
This is Deja Regusters. Indiana Tech, so far 2 goals early. And this is a turnover. Marian's going to take over. Ashlyn Gray works up, gets it to Ella Grace Geed, the leading scorer for this Marian team. The Knights have an even fast break. Geed gets through over the top of the cage and stays with the Knights.
Just a little high. Yeah, Ella Grace Geed has been a huge playmaker for this team. Same with Ruby Mason, who just took a shot. I think it hit pipe first.
Oberdorfer ends up with it. And Tech, again, able to get themselves in position to clear. Marian has prided themselves on their ability to play team offense, and so far Indiana Tech has had the strategy to stymie that in the first couple possessions. But of course, this is the feeling out period. Mind you, it is windy. I think we have gusts up to 35 miles an hour today in Indianapolis. It's a lot cooler down there than it is up here, comfortable in the booth for us.
Oh, absolutely. I think over the course of the game, it's supposed to drop about 20 degrees. So
right.
Hopefully they've got a few extra layers to add on as they go. We just saw a great cause turnover by the Knights in the midfield, again, preventing it from getting into our defensive third, into their defensive third, and saving their defense a little bit of energy so they're ready for their next set.
Ashlyn Gray was there at the door, but pass didn't quite get completed. An opportunity for Marian to get their first goal of the day. Right now you can feel they're starting to pound against the wall, waiting for something to crack. Indiana Tech is 28th in the country in clear percentage, 81% successful clearing.
And you can see that right there, even with a close pass. A lot of coaches don't want that option. They don't want the ball going up the middle. They don't want the ball staying within like 20 yards. But Oberdorfer was able to get that clear really sharp to her defender.
Deep cross pass. And the shot is handled.
Great save.
Great save by KJ Hirsch. All 11 games played for KJ Hirsch. Gets her 70th save, and Marian's on the run. This is Grace Martin. Working ahead to Geed, just outside the pipes.
You can definitely see that unselfish play from Grace Martin, and exactly why she's been a captain for 3 years. Taking it to the cage, no one's on her. As soon as one person slides, she's able to find her teammate right away.
It's Ruby Mason back over to Ashlyn Gray, and she'll pull out.
I think we're starting to see the physicality come out a little bit. They're a little bit more hesitant to attack. Just that defense is strong pressure as soon as they enter the 8-meter.
There's Ashlyn Gray again. Got a step. Gets past Oberdorfer, and it's the first goal for the Marian Knights.
Number 11, Ashlyn Gray.
It's her 24th goal on the season. Missed the first 3 games of the year with a hamstring injury. But man, is Marian happy to have her full and healthy.
We can see 3 of the bench warmers here on Marian's team doing the worm to celebrate that first goal. A lot of team spirit here with the Knights for Senior Day.
And Ashlyn Gray, one of the seniors, honored, but she'll be back next season, as we've heard word, along with her sister, Caitlin. Grace Martin will be the only senior leaving. So that's certainly a benefit to have some of your leading scorers back next season, especially in a year where you've gone from 5 wins last year to 8 wins this year already.
Oh, absolutely. The Gray sisters are phenomenal little athletes, and they've actually only been playing for 4 years and 3 years, respectively. Ashlyn started her freshman year. Caitlin didn't start till her sophomore year of college. So it's pretty unique to see these high-level players who've only been playing just a few seasons and making some big stats for the Knights.
That shot got off the glove there of Oberdorfer. Could have been a back-to-back goal, just like we saw Indiana Tech on one side get. Now the Warriors are up ahead.
You can see all the athletes actively fighting the wind as they're running.
And you can hear that wind over the mic. Deja Berguster's working down back behind X.
You'll notice as soon as an Indiana Tech player gets the ball, Marian's putting pressure on defense, and that's that backer zone. Able to put that pressure on, but also have a backup in case the Warriors dodge and get around. There is a second line of defense.
Brief stoppage. Get the word from our officials and their deliberation. But regardless, we'll have a free position here. Brooke Buer will work against KJ Hirsch. Option to pass or shoot, of course, from the 8-meter. She'll rumble towards the cage, over the top of the pipes. Indiana Tech retained possession briefly, but as a player falls down with contact there from Chase Searcy. See who that was? That was C.C. Mason.
Again, you saw very physical defense from the Knights there, and Indiana Tech is able to handle it. They practice hard so that they can play just as physical in these games.
Gusters gets the handle on it, albeit without some trouble from Sarah Travis. And the ground ball fought for, dumped inside the crease to KJ Hirsch. And Marian gets another cost turnover.
That's awesome. Both teams are very evenly matched with speed, too. You can watch in this transition game, both teams are just staying with each other, riding really, really hard, which is exactly what a coach wants. You know that both of these coaches are very happy with the pressure that's happening in the midfield. It's one of the hardest things to teach some of these athletes.
It's got to be one of the hardest things to instill, especially in the sport of lacrosse, is that aggressive mentality on the ride.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just extra work. It's hard to want to do that extra work in the midfield because it's not always a guaranteed turnover. So it's hard not to get a little reward for your hard work, but it saves you so much time and energy down on the defensive end when you're able to get a caused turnover in the midfield. Your defense is always very grateful. Your goalie is always very grateful, and they're able to play a little bit harder the next set because they've had that little opportunity to rest.
A little bit of space here, and a goal! Emily Blackburn.
Goal Knights, number 5, Emily Blackburn.
Doesn't get a whole lot of play throughout the rest, or hasn't had a whole lot of play throughout the season so far, but makes an impact early and ties the game at 2.
Yeah, Emily Blackburn has been one of the players who's probably seen the most growth over this season. In talking with Coach Stork-Sneed, she was saying that Emily in fall ball was a lot more tentative and hesitant to kind of find that cage, but I mean, you can't tell now. She's going for it when she finds the opportunity.
And it causes Alexis DiGiovanni to call the first timeout for Indiana Tech. And it certainly feels like this is the pace of game we're going to get throughout the entire day. We're nearly 10 minutes into this thing, 2-2 so far, and already it feels like this is a matchup that both teams had circled a while back. Of course, last year, Indiana Tech defeated Marian, and of course, retribution was on the menu for the Knights, but so far, so good. You take another look at this goal from Emily Blackburn.
Yeah, you can see her fighting through the defense. She gets checked at least once, if not twice in that play. Still maintains possession. Here you can see Coach Sierra Street getting fired up in that huddle, trying to keep that energy up.
It's one thing that's definitely true about each of these coaching staffs. The energy that they bring is apparent, and the brevity of their energy never stops. I mean, they constantly have so much excitement for what they do, and it's definitely got to be encouraging for a lot of these athletes to have coaches who are so passionate at this level.
Oh yeah, and you can see it. Their athletes totally buy in. I mean, if these coaches were getting down on them quickly or not as passionate, not as fired up, you'd probably see a dip in the play, and that's just not what we see from either of these teams. They put their foot on the gas and they don't let up.
Brought to you in part today by Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, proud partner of the Marian University Knights. Also, thank you to BSN, the preferred provider of apparel for Marian Knight Athletics. 2-2 our count so far in our first quarter of action. A legal procedure there, or violation rather, for Marian will give Indiana Tech the ball automatically.
So that's actually a pretty new rule with kind of the adjustment. In past years, any athlete was able to, another goal there for the Warriors.
Well, finish your thought so we can.
Yeah, another. In the past, athletes weren't able to come in. Only the midfielders were allowed to go for that draw control. Mm-hmm. And now they have to wait for full possession. So if there's anyone who enters early, that is a possession foul, and you're able to get a draw control even when it could have been just a 50-50 ball.
That's CeCe Mason on the goal, and this is a player who has emerged as one of the better. She's a junior now, but she had emerged as one of the better underclassmen that Alexis DiGiovanni had recruited. Junior out of White Lake, Michigan. Her 8th goal of the season. Also gets it done on the ground. 15 ground balls for CeCe. But it gives Indiana Tech the lead 3-2 early in the first. This is another draw control for Indiana Tech. How much credit do you give the ability to get your draw controls as an effect to win overall in the game?
Oh, typically, the team that controls the draw controls the game. Mm-hmm. It's just such an easy way to start off with possession, and again, kind of get some attacking momentum, some offensive momentum, rather than starting on defense. It is a little bit hard to start on defense. So typically, when we see a team starting with the draw control, possessing that, doing really well in that, that's kind of what we see score-wise. So far, it seems pretty even on the draw controls as well as the score, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So far, so good. Indiana Tech definitely leading the way at the draw. Working up top, Faith Donnelly. Briefly jarred loose there by Ashlyn Gray. The Warriors get it back. Oh, and a big collision there. This will be Indiana Tech's free position. See, I believe it'll be from the 12. Sure will. Take another look at this hit. Ashlyn Gray, at least with some contact, but Faith Donnelly falling, of course, that'll give the nod to Indiana Tech. And a pass disruption.
That was
picked up by Dumke and worked out. Now Marian on the run. Beautiful pass to Ella Grace Geed.
You can see their quick transition. They just had a few passes able to get the ball down to their attacking end. Definitely saves them a lot of time and keeps Indiana Tech kind of on their heels.
Now Marian trying to work to tie this game. Back behind X is Grace Martin.
You can see the Warriors have a really strong man-to-man defense. You'll notice all these athletes kind of stay with their assigned person, ready to help each other out, which is nice because you're able to put a lot more contact.
Ashlyn Gray climbs to the penthouse, rips the top shelf, and it's 3-3.
Right. Number 11, Ashlyn Gray.
Her second goal of the day and 25th overall. Ashlyn Gray ties it up.
You can see both of her goals have been left hand, which is not common for a lot of athletes to be able to switch and find top corner with their left. That's definitely a seasoned senior right there.
And beautiful camera work by our crew, capturing all those angles. This is a Marian team with a lot of different style athletes with a lot of different skills. And that's something that Allie Stork-Sneed said. She said, I have an embarrassment of riches sometimes with the skills that my girls have. You get a left-handed player, somebody who can play with their left hand like that. How does that impact the way the defense plays against you?
Oh, it's so tough.
Just going into your non-dominant hand even.
Oh, yeah. It's so tough. Having that tool in your toolbox is huge. Like, defenders have a hard time reading you. Goalies have a hard time reading you because if you only have one hand to use, they're always kind of coming from the same angle. So for goalies, like, you could tell the Warriors goalie in between the pipes had no idea that was coming off her stick left-handed.
Hard to make that save when it's opposite stick side. Oh, and a slam dunk over top. That goal is good.
Phenomenal pass.
It
right
sure
over
was.
The top.
Faith Donnelly sent it home. This is Final Four weekend, and we saw our first dunk in lacrosse today.
Following in LSU and Iowa's footsteps there.
Right. And a beautiful goal to get 4 there for Indiana Tech. A dot of a pass.
You can see that go right over the top of Katie Jo's stick, too. She almost had a piece of it, which is awesome to see from a goalie. Just couldn't quite get high enough.
Brooke Buer with the assist. Faith Donnelly, her second goal of the day. And Buer's 11th assist on the year. More assists than goals for Brooke Buer. That's pretty impressive, too. She's described by Alexis DiGiovanni as the point guard of this team, and you can see why with passes like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's so critical to have someone like that on your offensive end. And I know Brooke Buer is a midfielder, so she's able to have those sharp passes anywhere on the field, which is huge for the Warriors. You can see Marian trying to control the pace a little bit here. With a 90-second shot clock, you don't always want to go towards the net right away. Kind of save your midfielder's legs a little bit in transition.
Anna Moore losing the handle on it, trying to go up top to dodge. And Indiana Tech, active sticks in the defensive zone. We're trying to work through to Geed. That pass doesn't find the stick of number 24, but remains with Marian.
A missed pass there in the midfield, but great opportunities cutting.
Buer, opportunistic, takes it ahead, gets it up to CeCe Mason, and the Warriors are on the run. At the door, wide of the cage. Noel Ritchie had KJ Hirsch dead to rights in between the sticks, but it stays with the Warriors. 45 seconds left in our first quarter.
Yeah, those 3v2 opportunities are huge for both teams.
This is going to be a turnover. Deja Regusters, excuse me. Bumping Ashlyn Gray. Gets back over to Marian if they can get out of this midfield. Clock continues to run.
They're going to try to capitalize the best they can here.
Oh, that they will. Indiana Tech saying, no thanks. We want the lead headed into the second quarter. And they'll get it unless the last-ditch effort here. As the clock winds down, Indiana Tech leads 4-3 after one. Man, if you came for some exciting lacrosse, you came to the right spot. Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference game. Tumultuous and rowdy as ever. We got dunks on Final Four weekend on a lacrosse field. We'll be right back on the IC Sports Network.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business for 35-plus years. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Hey, Richard, what's the key to the growth over the last 35 years?
Pat, I believe being a family-owned local business that is involved in the community has a lot to do with it.
All right, so you have a lot of services. Tell us about some of those services.
We're really, really strong in the emergency services, smoke, fire damage restoration, storm and water damage restoration, all while working with your insurance company. We also do mold remediation, basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and roof repair. We are a full-service company.
All right, as to the owner, we know you wear a lot of hats. What do you do day to day?
I really love being out in the field working with our clients. It gives me a great opportunity to understand their needs so we can take care of them.
Your hands-on approach, I think, has a lot to do with the success of Michaelis. If you find yourself needing their services, give them a call anytime, 24/7 at 844-FIX-INDY. The Michaelis Corporation. Construct, renovate, restore.
I've always liked Indianapolis. I've been interested in the bigger city life. The community and everything fell into place.
With my degree, I plan on becoming a pediatric nurse. Indianapolis has several hospitals and different options to choose from as to where I should go.
I chose Indianapolis because I love the Pacers, I love the Colts, and this is a basketball city. Just wanted to stay in the city, play in front of my friends and family, and try to give Marian my best.
Marian University, site of today's WAC conference matchup, and Indiana Tech leads 4-3. Welcome you back alongside Rachel France. I'm Joey Lindstrom. This is a windy day in Indianapolis. We had 60-degree temperatures the last couple days, but of course, the Crossroads of America always dictate that you never know. I mean, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, right? I think we're going to have wind for longer than that, but regardless, fans are still showing out today at St. Vincent Field, Rachel.
Yeah, you can see some of the fans actively putting on more layers, bundling up in the stands. You can see in the huddles some of the athletes kind of warming up their fingers, warming up each other's fingers, trying to get ready for this.
Second quarter action getting set here at Marian. So far, so good for both teams. Indiana Tech had the late goal at the end of the first quarter there to give themselves the nod at the end of one. Marian held pace with Aquinas on Thursday, or Wednesday rather, losing that game by 2 goals, but Aquinas had a 5-goal third quarter. They were tied at half. 5 goals in the third quarter for Aquinas, none for Marian. Knights made an effort to come back, scored 4 goals in the fourth quarter, but just wasn't enough against Aquinas, who is now ranked 10th in the NAIA. But it was a good matchup either way.
Yeah, it's tough when you have a quarter like that. When one team just decides to pull away a little bit, it's really tough to come back from that. Often in team huddles, you'll hear coaches kind of say, all right, we dug ourselves a little bit of a hole, and the best we can do is try to climb out of that as quickly as possible.
Ella Grace Geed picks up that ground ball. As Hallie Reinhardt, who had the first goal of the day, couldn't quite handle that after the physicality. That's another thing, too. Both these teams very physical. Indiana Tech sometimes mostly known for it, but Marian has had a little more notoriety for their physicality as well over the last year, especially this season. And this is their first year in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, formerly in the Big South, where they won the conference title back in 2019. Made a national tournament appearance, one of the top 8 schools to make it to the national tournament. Oh, interception, beautifully done by Grace Martin, and she gets the goal to follow.
Incredible. You saw her catch that with her right hand, make that quick switch and get it off with her left hand. Again, talking about a senior who absolutely knows what she's doing. You can definitely see her experience in ball handling like that.
Dangerous pass also. Back to the goalkeeper, trying to start that clear, but lurking behind there is Grace Martin. I mean, look at that catch. That was one hand on her stick.
Oh, yeah. You can definitely see why this team absolutely loves her and gets her on the field as much as possible. She has a really high lacrosse IQ and is able to find teammates, knows where to put herself, to find passes, to find scoring opportunities. You can see her back on the draw now.
A huge goal for Grace Martin and Marian. Her first of the day, 25th on the season. And the spread of goals, I mean, everybody's sharing the wealth in this Marian team. You have 6 girls with 20 goals or more this season. 8 of them with 15 goals or more. That is impressive offensively to have that kind of firepower.
Oh, yeah, not having just one person that a team's defense can kind of focus on or shut down. They have to be ready for shots from any angle, any person.
That was another caused turnover. Libby Taylor got in the way of the passing lane, but coughs it up, trying to start the clear, and Indiana Tech retains possession. It's felt as if it's been a tit-for-tat matchup so far. Every time Indiana Tech scores, Marian's ready to respond.
Yeah, and you can see, again, Indiana Tech pulling it really wide, trying to challenge Marian on their backer zone. It's scary as a defender to put pressure and body contact on when you're 20 yards away from your goalkeeper.
Right.
It's definitely smart on the Warriors' part to kind of spread them out and try to challenge them.
Be a brief stoppage here. See the replay of this. No foul, no yellow card or anything drawn.
Oh,
but it is dangerous stick area, right?
I think that was a yellow card. It was a
yellow.
slash.
Okay.
Now, in women's lacrosse, you're not able to like keep your stick on the ground. So I think that's what they called. That's what the ref kind of had their hand motion as. The refs are calling a pretty tight game. I think they're aware that this is a highly anticipated game, a highly intense game, and both teams are hungry for this win.
A big-time matchup in the Hoosier State. Deja Burgusters trying to make work with their teammate out in the penalty box. Marian will get possession back here in the midfield. It'll be 2 minutes in the box for Abby Wilson. And counting. Now here's Gray. Looking for an outlet. Down in front, Ella Grace Geed. I think she took her eye off the ball just as she was trying to catch that pass. And Marian will set up. And turn it over immediately. A tough errant pass goes over the top of Madison Ash. And the Warriors get it back.
I think that's one of the hardest things. As a midfielder, you're sprinting down the field, expending a lot of energy. By the time you get down there, it takes a lot of work to control your passes and control your pace. And I think we saw that evident in both the pass from Ella Grace and the pass that went over Madison Ash there.
Trying to figure out the sequence here. Marian gets it back. I didn't see if it was off ball or what have you, but regardless, the Knights have it. Did you quite see it?
I did not see it. Quick shot by Ruby Mason there.
Caitlin Gray. Over top. Losing the handle was Lizzie Piercy.
And you'll see the Knights really trying to press here, find the open girl.
Oberdorfer saves out in front. It's a good shot attempt from Madison Ash. Ella Grace Geed bounces it through the 5-hole. And the Knights take the lead for the first time today.
That is huge for the Knights to capitalize on their player up situation. As a coach, you want to try to talk through like, okay, be patient, have patience, find the open girl. But as a defense, they are working so hard to make sure that those gaps are not exposed from the player who has been out with that yellow card. And that is actually a releasable yellow card, so because there was a goal, Warriors are now full strength again.
It'll put Abby Wilson back where she's used to being at the circle there for the draw.
Again, you see just a lot of battle for those 50-50 balls. Both teams working hard for the ground ball, working hard for the draw control.
Abby Wilson got it down inside to Brooke Buer, but it's past the cage. And because Chase Searcy was the closest player to that ball when it went out of bounds, Marian will get it back. Dumped over to Haley Irvin. We've seen all our goals so far in... We haven't seen any goals in transition, probably is a better way to say this. But, you know, regardless, though, both teams in their sets and in their systems have been working very hard to get goals, and it's paid off.
Oh, yeah. Again, I think after a midfield transition like that, you can tell they're all working their absolute hardest to get the ball down to their offensive end. Typically, your shot is not going to be great after you've just run 60 yards. So you can definitely see both teams trying to control the pace of their offense after working hard in transition.
Ruby Mason had that shot. Oberdorfer saves, gets another save. Her 5th of the day, and counted for her 6th. She is a brick wall for this Indiana Tech squad. A sophomore out of St. Joseph, Michigan. Has to try to clear here. Indiana Tech has had a couple troubles clearing so far today, but she gets it to Buer, who's been solid in the midfield. Working up top, gets it to Ritchie.
You can definitely tell that the Knights talked about those clears, definitely worked on their clears or their ride situation, defending those clears. The Warriors are strong in their clearing game, and you can see, again, Oberdorfer was able to find her defender really sharply, really quickly, even with a Marian player on that girl.
And Katie Jo Hirsch, once again, standing tall in between the sticks. Her 3rd save of the day. Ashlyn Gray working up top. Here's a transition from Marian off the post. Stays with the Knights. Madison Ash closest to it. What a great opportunity that was for Marian. Looking to get that again, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Finding those open girls down low is huge. You'll notice in transition, their attackers will kind of split. Some of the girls staying low, some of them coming high, trying to create some depth and look for those like open opportunities when defenders slide up higher to the ball keeper.
Another tuck opportunity and off the crossbar, off the bounce. Unlucky 2 times in a row are the Knights.
And neither of these teams are afraid to shoot right now.
No doubt about that. Make it for some fun action. This is Faith Donnelly. Even numbers going through. Has to pull it out.
Again, you see them just slowing it down, making sure they have all their numbers, collecting themselves before they make their attack.
And both these teams can play fast when they want to. Reinhardt got some space. Hirsch, another save. Both these goalkeepers tough in this second quarter. Faith Donnelly. Can she work against the left hand? Dumps it to Wilson. She's got some room wide of the cage.
Yeah, the Warriors, you can tell, are a dodge-heavy team. They definitely practice that a lot. They're not afraid to go to cage, and they're not afraid to kind of barrel through some defenders when given the opportunity.
Across the way, too tall for Deja Regusters. We saw a cross crease pass work in that first quarter for a dunk. This is Sarah Travis. She gets worked out of bounds, but will stay with Marian. Dangerous pass, somehow finds the stick of Ashlyn Gray.
Yeah, those midfielders are able to find the ball even in those dangerous pass opportunities or situations where maybe there are a few too many defensive sticks, but they're able to get a handle on it.
Ruby Mason dumps it to Ella Grace Geed.
A shooting space call. So we'll get a free position here for Ella Grace Geed. Now, Ruby Mason and Ella Grace Geed went to high school together, so you can kind of see their chemistry on the field after 4 years of playing together.
Both local kids, Indy Bishop Chatard. Grace Geed gets some room and lets it rip. And Marian takes a 2-goal lead.
Number 24, Ella Grace Geed.
Her 35th goal on the season and her second of the day today.
As a freshman, she's putting up a great show here for her first season. I'm sure the coaches are excited to see what she can do in the next few years.
So impressive just to be a freshman in an environment where you're coming to a program where Allie Stork-Snead has been with the seniors of this team since they were freshmen. And you see the growth that they've had. And you're probably encouraged, if you're Ella Grace Geed, to be able to work yourself into this system. You're probably happy with just working yourself into the system. She is leading the team in goals as a freshman.
Oh yeah, it's incredible to see, and I know she's pumped to get better, and I'm sure she's excited to continue learning from these seniors, and of course the 3 who will be a 5th-year seniors this upcoming season. The Warriors are putting on a really strong show in that draw control as well.
So far leading the way 9-3 over the Knights at the draw.
You'll see that quick draw and dump opportunity. The Warriors challenged, were able to find a little pass, but ultimately a turnover for the Knights here.
Another turnover caused for Marian. That's their 7th of the day. 12 turnovers for Indiana Tech so far today, as there's actually one for Marian. Intercepted away. Now in transition, Gray at the door. Ashlyn Gray, her 3rd goal, and Marian takes a 3-goal lead.
I think there were 3 fakes there. I mean, when you're going one-on-one with the goalie is very prepared for you. So being able to take time, I see 1 fake, 2 fake, and then a shot there. Able to take her high, then low, ultimately ending the shot a little bit high on on the non-stick side of the goalie. It's a really smart shot.
Another one of these captains for this team, causing another timeout for Indiana Tech. Leaving a great time to talk to you about the M Club. Joining the M Club is the absolute best way to support the student athletes at Marian University. For more information, visit marian.edu/M Club. And Indiana Members Credit Union, proud to support Marian University and now offers a free Marian Knights debit card with a free checking account. Get your Knights debit card today and show your support. Visit any IMCU branch or sign up online now at imcu.com. Membership savings required, federally insured by NCUA. So far, Indiana Tech at the end of the first quarter led 4-3. We've seen 4 unanswered goals from Marian. What does Alexis DiGiovanni and her staff try to tell their team in order to get back into this thing right now?
I mean, that's the ultimate question. I think it all boils down to coaching style, of course, and I know Coach DiGiovanni is very intense, especially as an alumni of this program. She's very passionate about Indiana Tech lacrosse. So you know she's getting them fired up and just trying to put a little fire under their butts, getting them ready for these last 4 minutes of the half.
Lacrosse, of course, is a game of runs, forever and always will be. And in women's lacrosse particularly, I think there's a trend that happens where once you get 1 or 2 goals in, you're more confident at the draw, and then you immediately start to work into your system a little bit more efficiently.
Oh, yeah. Just getting a little bit of momentum is huge for lacrosse. And I know the Knights are hoping to capitalize a little bit more on the draw control here, as are the Warriors hoping to maintain their draw control wins so far. You can see the ref taking a little extra time there. Both girls very ready for that draw control. A great draw control for the Warriors.
Hallie Reinhardt making quick work there. Gets it over to Burgusters. Indiana Tech stays. CC Mason. Warriors trying to get themselves back into a groove to finish out the half. Under 4 to play. Brooke Buer, another assist to CC Mason.
Phenomenal little bounce shot there. Being so close to the cage, it's really, really smart to go low because the goalie's ready for you up high. So very smart shot from CC Mason. You can see her drop her stick, drop her shoulders. The goalie just did not have time to react to that.
Another beautiful play from Indiana Tech, and those types of plays where you work against the wing to get yourself open in the crease has worked for them a couple of times today already.
Oh yeah, I think as a drive-heavy team, they tend to just go in, dodge, and you can see that in their play so far, but they're finding a lot of opportunities with the quick passes, quick assists, to finding people who are open in the middle.
Two teams with different styles of play, offensively and defensively. It definitely makes for some fun action. When you look at this Indiana Tech offense working against this Marian defense, what kind of sticks out for you when, I mean, you mentioned against a backer zone like that, but what makes it difficult for Marian to defend like that?
Well, I mean, in a backer zone, you're essentially leaving somebody kind of unmarked. The person farthest away from the ball, you're kind of leaving them as like, well, they're not so dangerous right now. We can probably leave them alone a little bit. But if the Warriors are able to capitalize on that, they're going to have to pass through probably 2 or 3 sticks to find that open person. So backer zone is definitely challenging in that. It's also exhausting. You can see as they're pressuring way out, almost to the numbers, 20 yards away from the goal, that's just a lot more running for the Knights. You want to see, well, there we go.
Yeah,
they were able to capitalize on it.
You get yourself a turnover and get the ball in the stick of Libby Taylor. And Marian now with an opportunity to make it another 3-point lead if they can get this possession, but Regusters gets that ground ball off the air from Ashlyn Gray. Can Indiana Tech take advantage?
Yeah, you can see the Warriors again slowing it down, waiting for their numbers. They don't want to attack 5 versus 7. They want to be very patient.
A stoppage here, and she'll get another free position. This time, head up against KJ Hirsch. And Hirsch, just an elbow to get that ball out of the way. Didn't even have to use the net of her stick.
Great body awareness from our keeper for the Knights there.
Kind of like a hockey goalie in a way there.
Exactly. Use any part of you to keep that ball out of the net.
Another turnover here for Indiana Tech. That's 9 caused turnovers for Marian. Ruby Mason, full head of steam. Stops on a dime to get it over to Caitlin Gray. Final 90 seconds of our first half. Trying to get it inside to Emily Blackburn. Oberdorfer is there to corral it in the crease. And here's Buer. Kalisha Gilmore. I will say, neither of these teams are very afraid to take chances with their passes. I mean, that's what's making or breaking a lot of these goals for both these teams.
1 minute remaining in the half.
They're able to kind of thread the needle and find each other even when there are sticks in the way. A lot of contact there from the Knights.
Yep. That is,
I think, might be an injury.
As Reinhardt on the ground there. Clock stops. She's shaken up a little bit. There is a lot of depth to this Indiana Tech roster.
But not what you want to see as
No, definitely
Coach
not.
DiGiovanni. Yeah, looks like she may have just stepped on that a little funny.
Over top crease, that was a brief chance almost there for Noelle Ritchie. And another free position upcoming for Indiana Tech. Brooke Buer this time.
You saw Brooke Buer kind of pump fake. She was able to kind of notice that there were defenders in her way and capitalize on that shooting space call.
And she capitalizes on the free position. She's got the job done a couple times today already with assists and gets herself a goal. Just her first of the day.
You'll notice both teams are kind of staying on the non-stick side of the goalie. That's the hardest save to make for a goalie, and both teams are capitalizing on that. You can tell they've put a lot of work in practice on those types of shots.
11th goal for Brooke Buer. 2 assists today as well. Final 40 seconds. Marian leads 7-6 so far. And thank you so much for joining us. As we mentioned in the open, this is the inaugural lacrosse broadcast at Marian University, and we're so excited to bring you the action here on ISC Sports Network. Rachel France, Joey Lindstrom, and this is also a momentous day because there is some Hoosier hysteria in the air. We are getting ourselves a tug of war, if you will, and Marian a bit of a run throughout this whole quarter. 4 unanswered goals. Now Indiana Tech 3 unanswered goals.
We were talking earlier about momentum, and it can't be more true than right now as we see kind of a back and forth fight working into the end of this first half.
Yeah, Indiana Tech had the 1-goal advantage at the end of the first quarter. I misspoke. 2 unanswered goals for Indiana Tech rather than 3. The 4-3 at the end of first. Can Marian have a 1-goal lead at the end of the first half, or does Indiana Tech have the opportunity to tie here?
You can see a little bit of miscommunication on those ground balls. Ultimately, the Warriors coming up with it, looking for some quick passes to find the cage.
Buer, shot over top the cage. Good hustle there from Noelle Ritchie, and it stays with the Warriors.
Yeah, you can see she took a little bit of contact there on her shot. Probably deflected a little bit from that.
Final 5 seconds. Got to make quick work of the Warriors at the door. Is it turned over? Somebody's got to take it. Donnelly stretches it out, and the time winds down. So Marian at the end of the first half, 7-6 here at St. Vincent Field. And so far, Rachel, so good for both these teams. handling their business well.
Is your building haunted or infested with icky snakes? Then tear it down. The Raised Trash Demolition Squad can flatten buildings up to 3 stories tall. Whether it's a commercial or residential structure, the Raised Trash Demo experts will make it go boom. And with their roll-off containers, they'll haul away the mess quicker than you can say, hey, there used to be a building there. Bring your old fire trap to its knees with Raised Trash.
RaisedTrash.com.
Raised Trash.
Meet Kate. She has a lot to juggle. Family, work, it can lead to trying days and tired nights. But we know Kate, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know at some point her space at a premium life may change. IMCU is here to help Kate and you find your space. Now, add on or remodel with an introductory rate of 1.9% APR on a home equity line of credit. Today, it's all about Kate. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
I have so much support from my advisors.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I chose Marian for the business program.
Marian University, an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today at marian.edu.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with zero sugar. This is the Pepsi with zero compromises. This is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Campus is where I made friends that I know will last a lifetime.
Academics, sports, or arts, Marian's got something for you.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
I'm a huge sports fan. Living in Indy, I've got the Knights, the Colts, and the Pacers.
Applying was so fast and easy.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
You have enough on your plate. Let McAllister Rentals' wide selection of equipment help. With an extensive equipment selection and experienced people, McAllister Rentals in the Cat Rental Store is your one-stop shop for all your equipment needs. You know we can help you with the big jobs, from moving dirt to getting you in the air. But did you also know that we can handle your smaller equipment needs with equipment like generators and water pumps? McAllister Rentals has made its mark with locations throughout Indiana and now Michigan. We pride ourselves on our reliable equipment, fast service, and knowledgeable people. Visit us online today or give us a call. McAllister Rentals, helping build Indiana since 1945.
I have so much support from my advisors.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I chose Marian for the business program.
Marian University, an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Own a home? Here's a tip. Don't dump your garbage in the street. Neighbors get fussy about that sort of thing. Instead, count on Raised Trash to haul it away. Raised can supply 96-gallon waste and recycling bins that'll make you the envy of the cul-de-sac. And when you need a roll-off container for that big job, guess who's going to be there for you? That's right, Raised. Your filth needs a place of its own. Raised Trash will move it there. You know where to go.
RaisedTrash.com.
Raised Trash.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business over 35 years. I'm here with Joe Polizzi to talk emergency services. Now, Joe, when I set my house on fire with a toaster, you were actually in my yard before the firefighters left.
Well, Pat, I remember that call like it was yesterday, and although I was disappointed that it was yours, I was happy that I was going to be able to provide some assistance.
You know, this true story, a firefighter actually told me I needed to call someone for emergency services, kind of obvious, and I told him Michaelis was on the way. He said, great, because they're the real deal. Joe, now what do you do in these situations when you show up?
Well, we try to be a calming influence, and we try to find out what the needs are of the family. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's desires are different. What we try to do is match what we could provide with what they need and do it very smoothly.
I've lived it. If you find yourself needing emergency restoration service in the wake of a fire, flood, or storm, give the Michaelis Corporation a call anytime, 24/7, 844-FIX-INDY.
Back at Marian University alongside Rachel France. My name is Joey Lindstrom. Halftime so far, Marian leads 7-6 over the Indiana Tech Warriors. And so far, Rachel, this has been a battle, a tug of war, if you will. This is one of those matchups in the WAC where you look at it and you say, wow, two Titans going at it, right? Knights and Warriors. And so far, we've seen a lot of good offense out of both teams, a bit of a couple good runs out of each squad. Marian with a four-goal run at the end of, or in the second quarter rather, and Indiana Tech with a 2-goal run to answer to get it back to a 1-goal game. What are your impressions so far in that first half?
This is one to watch, and I think we knew that going in. We knew both teams would be hungry and ready for a win here, ready to do what it takes to get the goals, get the ball in the back of the net, cause those turnovers, find the draws, find the ball off the draw control, and it's definitely living up to it right now. As soon as each team gets momentum, the other one answers back, which you can't ask for a better lacrosse game.
Both goalkeepers playing very well and standing on their heads in that second quarter. Sydney Oberdorf, we see here on your screen there, 6 saves so far, 46% in the cage. And KJ Hirsch on the opposite end for Marian, 5 saves for her, 6 goals allowed, 45% in the cage. Even matchup so far, and that's what we thought we were going to get out of both these players in between the sticks.
Oh, absolutely, and I think the goals that are making their way past these two keepers are really well fought for goals. They're left-handed or non-dominant shots. They're finding opposite stick side of the goalie, pipe side. They're adding in some fakes. These goalies are making the attackers work for their points.
Cause turnovers was a big emphasis for Marian. Second in the country in cause turnovers for the NAIA. They have 8 so far in this game as you look through some of the highlight melt for the first half. And really we saw a lot of athletic goals. We also saw a couple dunks right at the crease. What was really the difference between abilities for each team to make their shots and not?
Well, I think we're seeing a lot more adaptability from the Warriors right now. Again, we talked to their coach earlier today talking about they're a dodge-heavy team. They like to take it to the cage themselves when they have the opportunity. And Marian, with their backer zone, is forcing them to find quick passes for those opportunities. You can see one right there with that little dunk. That is a hard pass to make, a hard catch to make, and a low-angle shot. So I've seen a lot of adaptability. We've seen a lot of adaptability from the Warriors, whereas the Knights are kind of running their typical game. They're able to find each other. They're an assist-heavy team, able to work together. And again, we mentioned they don't have just one top scorer.
7-6. Marian leads Indiana Tech. And the second half is sure to be as exciting, if not more exciting, than the first had to offer. You are watching NAIA Women's Lacrosse on the ISC Sports Network. We'll be right back for the second half of action.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
The minute I stepped foot on campus, I didn't want to leave.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I'm a business major.
I love Marian University.
An exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Welcome back to St. Vincent Field alongside the Columbian national women's head coach, Rachel France. My name is Joey Lindstrom, Indiana Tech, and visiting Marian. 7-6 the nod so far for the Knights after the first half. Take a minute to remind you we are brought to you today by Michaelis Corporation. From ground-up building projects to around-the-clock emergency security services, no one answers your prayers or the phones quicker than Michaelis. Call 1-844-FIX-INDY. Of course, brought to you today by Marian Athletics. Get all of the up-to-minute information on the Knights athletics at MUKnights.com and follow on Twitter at MUKnights. That's at MUKnights. Getting started here in the second half. Grace Martin and Hallie Reinhardt ready to do battle at the draw. And so far, for the draw controls, Indiana Tech with a clear advantage, 12-3. And we talked about the impact that draw controls have for the game. You said that if you control the draw, you control the game. So far, it has been back and forth. Indiana Tech with some great possessions, but Marian gets the first draw of the second half here. Unfortunately, for the Knights, they turn it over immediately. Back over to the Warriors.
You can definitely tell in their halftime huddle, they talked about that draw control. It's huge, again, to start with an attacking play instead of a defensive play, and the Knights were definitely looking to do that.
Neither team had any trouble clearing. Indiana Tech with only one failed clear in that first half as they get their successful one here. So they're 8 of 9 for the game. As here's a turnover. Ashlyn Gray scoops it.
Looking to find her twin there.
Trying to find some telepathy there for the clear for the Knights. Wilson works it across the way, and it's scooped by KJ Hirsch.
You could see she was looking to thread in between those sticks of the Knights, the defensive sticks. Ultimately, just a few too many in the way there. A great catch behind her back there. That's a tough one to make as you're running away from the ball.
Blackburn gets it out in front. Ash finishes at the crease. First goal of the second half belongs to the MASH. Madison Ash just over her PA announcer. Let that one rip. Huge goal for Marian. It's her first goal of the day for Madison Ash.
She's one of those critical crease players. She plays down low because of skills like that. She's able to recognize when her defender is just not quite paying attention to her, sneak in for a little cut opportunity, look for the pass, and get the ball off quick.
Her 16th goal on the season, assisted by Emily Blackburn. And Allie Stork-Snead said she plays well behind the crease. She can run on the fast break as well, but we see her there, finishing at the doorstep.
That's definitely a player you want on your team, someone who's able to just work around that crease area, work in tight spaces. You need a lot of control on the ball for that.
Draw controlled for Indiana Tech. Deja Regusters. And if anything, the Warriors have become very formidable at the circle. Ooh, a lot of contact in the way there for Danny McCumber. She'll get the chance with the free position. Head up against Katie Jo Hirsch.
She's put on the center hash there. That's definitely the most desirable spot for an attacker. You could just get to see the most area behind the goalie here in the cage. It's definitely the hash that she wanted.
And she gets it past Hirsch, taking advantage of the free position is McCumber.
Goal number 14,
A great little bounce shot. She was able to go, it looks like right 5-hole between the legs of Katie Jo Hirsch there.
Very impactful for Indiana Tech, drawing closer into this deficit. And in the beginning of the game, it started to feel like Indiana Tech was holding the advantage in a lot of different aspects of the game. Marian goes on that run. They've started to shift momentum. Now you feel like Indiana Tech is starting to get back a little bit with plays like that.
Oh yeah, you're definitely seeing the spirit of all of these athletes come out in such an intense game. The temperature has actually dropped about 15 degrees since we started.
Yeah.
And you can see some of the athletes putting on a few more layers, but still fighting through regardless.
And the wind never makes it better.
No, the wind
is so unforgiving.
Oh, and especially holding a metal stick.
Right.
You're just hoping not to get checked in the fingers.
A lot of these girls don't wear the gloves, so their hands ought to be cold too, as Ashlyn Gray takes a tumble, getting pushed.
There was that contact on the back.
And that's going to be a yellow card for cross-check.
That's a big, big call this year, both at the collegiate and the high school levels. They're just trying to keep athletes safe. That stick contact to the back is what they're really focusing on. You can see the ref kind of checking in on Gray there.
So that penalty will release at 10:57 for Indiana Tech, unless Marian gets a goal, unless either team gets a goal in this next sequence. But Deja Regusters will serve some time in the penalty box. Just a freshman. Marian trying to take advantage of this player-up opportunity. A stoppage off ball. This will result in a free position for Grace Martin at the 8. Martin wide of the cage will stay with Marian.
It's huge to maintain possession, especially a player up.
Right there to play backup there was Emily Blackburn, but Indiana Tech gets it off the turnover.
You'll notice they're putting a hard double team on that Warriors player.
Grace
Jade.
Keed out in front. It was saved by Oberdorfer. Rattled around, stays with Indiana Tech. Dangerous follow through, I believe, is the verdict.
So that's going to be a yellow card for Ella Grace Geed
Yeah.
as well. Warriors ball.
Yellow card issued to the Knights, number 24.
They're even 10-10 right now.
Well, you can see what she was trying to do. She had the opportunity out in front, wanted to get it off quickly. But that's a yellow card, and that'll release at 10:26. So for about 30 seconds, when the Indiana Tech penalty wraps up, Marian will be a woman down.
Both teams have kept it pretty clean so far. This is only the third yellow card administered for the whole game. With two physical teams, the refs are doing a really good job of keeping control of the physicality here.
This is Gabby Hitchcock.
A lot of
Works
pressure
ahead to
from the
clear.
Knights.
Hitchcock, one of the players that they rotate defensively, still trying to figure out who that fourth defender will permanently be for Indiana Tech.
That's an offsides call for the Knights.
Didn't have 4 players back beyond that 30-yard line, so
So in addition to the Knights sending one more back, they have to put one player behind. So it's both, well, it's a positional advantage for the Warriors here.
Reinhardt tried to spin through a couple defenders, and Hirsch scoops it as that ball gets checked away from her stick. Oh, a tough check there from Faith Donnelly. And that will be a yellow for the junior. And now Indiana Tech will be another player down. So Marian has a 1-player advantage right now, with 50 seconds left on that first penalty from Deja Regusters. And this one would release at 9:45. So a little bit more physicality in the second half, I think, Rachel.
Oh yeah, they're getting fired up with a close game like this. Emotions are going to start running a little bit higher as well. You'll see the Knights kind of finding that open player, making a few passes, able to find Maddie Dumpke there.
And you're a coach by trade, teacher by trade, coach by night, but you never, never stopped coaching, I guess. When you see two players, when you're down by that many, we'll let the sequence play out here in a second. I'll ask you this question afterwards. Well, Marian will pull out. When you're down by this many players, as you get another shot there, what changes about your strategy when you're two players down, or even in this situation, I guess you're still one player down, but when you don't have your full strength out there, what changes?
Well, both defensively and offensively, you're going to have to do a little bit more running, just because there aren't as many bodies in that attacking space or in that defending space. So there's a lot more ground to cover.
That's Grace Martin. We'll head for a free position. Shaken up there as you try to split two defenders. Going towards the cage.
Yeah, the refs are also going to be looking for that more physical play. Now that we have players down on both sides, they're really, really looking closely to make sure that that contact is legal.
Martin bounces it home and gives Marian a little more of a cushion. 9-7 now. And Martin gets her second goal of the day.
Again, non-stick side, a low bouncing shot. It's awesome placement.
Senior from Evansville, Indiana, and Wrights High School. The only graduating senior today. She's been the offensive leader for 3 of the 4 years here at Marian, that she's been here at Marian. A lot of these players, as they've grown through this program, have respected her lacrosse IQ and her leadership. Been a captain for 3 seasons.
And as a future elementary teacher.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Her leadership will be taken to the classroom starting next year down in Evansville. You can see a lot of physicality on the draw here. Those circle players, the other midfielders, kind of jostling with each other for the best position. Oftentimes it's more of a mind game than it is actually a position game.
Handling the draw nicely is Hallie Reinhardt.
Phenomenal stick skills there. You could see even with a check from the Knights, Reinhardt was able to hang on to that with one hand on her stick. That's a lot of wrist strength and control. You can tell she's been working really hard on that.
14-5 advantage in draw controls, as all penalties are released now.
Yeah, both teams full strength, definitely looking to settle back into their typical offensive strategies and defensive strategies. When you're a person down in a backer zone, you kind of work back into either a regular zone or a man-to-man defense.
Ball falls out of the stick of Faith Donnelly. Don't see that often out of your best offensive player. If you're Indiana Tech, Marian loses it and gives it right back.
Could see Chase Searcy there trying to hang on to it, protect her stick, but ultimately getting it bumped out by the Warriors.
Now Marian in transition. This is Ruby Mason. Can the Knights get themselves a 3-goal advantage?
Looks like they're waiting for their numbers as their midfielders kind of trickle in here.
This is Lizzie Piercy. Trying to work ahead to Ella Grace Geed. And turns it over. Picked up by the goalkeeper, Sydney Oberdorfer.
Yeah, that ball just getting jostled quite a bit. You can just tell how much contact is really happening on that field when you see the ball kind of fumbled out of a few sticks there.
Caitlin Gray giving some trouble to her Gusters. And Marian will be back in system.
So as a coach, you typically have kind of three main offensive strategies. There's the fast break, which is exactly how it sounds, just right off transition. Person with the ball takes it to cage. The slow break, that's kind of looking for just 1 or 2 passes. And then what we've seen from both teams a lot is that slow break, and they're capitalizing again off of that slow break and the settled kind of play where they just take a pause and control the pace before they can find a player who is open.
And it's paid off. Another goal for Ella Grace Geed. Her third of the day, another hat trick for the freshman.
You can see her shoot around that defender, too. That's great defensive contact there, great positioning. Ella Grace Geed just got the stick around her defender. But ultimately, the Warriors are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. That was phenomenal defensive positioning. Nothing more you can ask for as a coach. From, I think that was number 7, Kalisha Gilmore. Great positioning there.
They're doing everything they can. I mean, this is the slow burn that Marian has had throughout the year. They average about 15 goals a game, and for good reason, because they've been able to, like you said, slow it down, pause for a second, get themselves into the system, and find the best player to shoot. A lot of the time that has been Ella Grace Geed.
See both teams kind of catching their breath after that set. Couple back and forths, few turnovers.
Scooped up by Ruby Mason.
A lot of contact again in that midfield.
Ash gets over top to Ashlyn Gray.
So there was that slow break into the settled. You could kind of see a few quick passes over to Ashlyn Gray, and then ultimately they slowed it down into that third opportunity, our settled opportunity.
Great cost turnover there. Kalisha Gilmore, just talked about her, showing that effort, and it pays off there in the turnover for Indiana Tech. Now they have to clear successfully. Marian's making it difficult. Bit of an errant pass from Oberdorfer, and now it's back with the Knights.
This defense from the Warriors just not letting up. You can definitely see their resiliency as the ball comes back down and they're already in position ready to go. Again, Kalisha Gilmore, very impressive body defense there, not going for a check, just maintaining that contact and still like getting a reward, getting the Knights player to kind of fumble the ball there.
Working tough against Ella Grace Geed. Tough contact there. Lizzie Piercy loses the ball. Indiana Tech gets it back. Now Buer working over top. This is Abby Wilson. And Indiana Tech, even numbers on the break. And they take advantage. Wilson off the post.
A phenomenal look, though. Again, going down left-handed, looking to hit top corner. It's what it looked like she was shooting for. After like a good 50-yard run down to the cage.
Oh, that effort would have been worth it. I think it maybe even deflected there off of the stick of Hirsch and the post. Regardless, just over 6 minutes to play here in our third quarter. And one of the referees has to tie their shoe, and we're back on. Got to make sure everybody's good out there.
Absolutely.
Buer over top. Pass doesn't quite go through. Hallie Reinhardt.
You can see Hallie now with a little bit of a bandage on her knee after that fall in the second quarter.
She works all the way through the defense and scores.
Yeah, not slowing her down. You can see the great stick slam after that goal. She wanted that one.
That was all heart from Hallie Reinhardt.
Absolutely, playing through a little bit of an injury, then weaving her way through about 4 different defenders to find the back of the cage.
Her second goal of the day, 13th on the season. And you see the slam.
You can see Katie Jo Hirsch also all the way at the top of her crease trying to minimize how much goal that Hallie could see. But still she was able to find some space around her to shoot.
So if you're a goalkeeper, you'd rather take away that space than just wait.
Oh yeah, like think of somebody in your face. If they give you like a meter, you think, okay, I mean, I could dodge around them or like avoid them. But if they're right up on your face, it's really hard to see past. And the goalie has a bigger stick, more gear. It really takes away a lot of the sight opportunity when you're trying to find the cage.
Indiana Tech draws closer, but Marian controls the draw here. Caitlin Gray. Both these teams receiving votes in the NAIA poll. As far as placement goes, we've identified them, or the NAIA has identified both these teams, Indiana Tech at ranked 11th and Marian at 12th. The NAIA poll only goes up to 10. And Aquinas, after the big win over Marian, moved up to that 10th spot as there's a shot from Caitlin Gray. And Oberdorfer, another great save. She's got 10 today. A tough contact. Reinhardt is all over the map.
It looks like that was a yellow as well.
And it was a yellow. So
Yeah,
that's going to be awarded to Madison Ash.
You can see Reinhardt kind of holding her back. It looks like that was, again, that stick contact on the back. It's really hard to avoid, especially if you're defending against such a shifty attacker like Reinhardt. She's able to really work around and use her body as an advantage. But when you're playing body defense and trying to put contact on, it's almost hard to avoid that contact on the back. We can see the refs, again, just making sure a player stays safe by making that quick call.
And she gets checked again. Ashlyn Gray, a lot of the Marian faithful not too pleased with that call, but regardless, stays with the Warriors. Back over to Reinhardt. She had the open look. KJ Hirsch stands in. Is that a shooting space? No, this was an off-ball foul.
It looked like it was offsetting because she shot. So when I think the ref can't quite tell what she did, but it looked like it was offsetting, so that maybe alternating possession went to the Knights there.
Stays with Warriors, though, after the turnover by Marian. Gilmore gets it over to Mason, and what a save from Hirsch. So talented is KJ Hirsch in between the sticks.
Both goalies, just very fast reaction time. Makes it tough for these attackers to find the back of the cage. They're definitely trying, though.
Caitlin Gray was looking for Newell. And back and forth we go. Playing the long game, both these teams. Now in transition with Indiana Tech. Up ahead, CeCe Mason tried to take it away from Hirsch, excuse me. There's going to be a timeout for Allie Stork-Sneed and her squad. Well taken, because I think both these teams are gassed right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with all the contact that's happening and a few more yellow cards this half, I think that was a well-placed timeout for both teams. Just give everyone a break. Catch their breaths. Talk to each other. Kind of communicate offensive and defensive. The field is really big. You can't always talk to each other when you're out there. So it's nice to have these timeout opportunities to make sure all your teammates are on the same page.
First On Site, formerly More Restoration, are here to help power you through whatever comes your way. They're a leading North American property restoration company, specializes in emergency response, restoration, and reconstruction following disasters of any kind. From fire and flood to catastrophic storms or biohazards, they have the team, tech, and resources to help you restore, rebuild, and rise. Go Knights. And also brought to you by O'Brien Automotive Family, presenting sponsor for today's match of Saving Money is Important to You. Visit Tom O'Brien Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, a proud sponsor of Marian Athletics. Tom O'Brien is Indy's preferred Jeep dealer with 2 locations and the biggest Jeep inventory in Indiana. To show our support, Tom O'Brien will donate $200 to Marian for every car any student, parent, employee, or friend of Marian buys when you mention this promo. Go Knights, and go to Tom O'Brien to see how our family works for you since 1933. I wonder if that offer is also extended for broadcasters. I'm in the market for a new vehicle.
Well, there you go. As long as you mention Marian,
that's right.
They'll get a little bit of a kickback there.
I'll take it. 10-8, our count. 3:19 left in our third quarter.
Oberdorfer in the pipes there, ready to continue stopping some of these shots.
We mentioned the top 10 poll for the NAIA. Kaiser stays at first, followed by Reinhardt, Lawrence Tech, Life University in Georgia, Cumberland's in Kentucky, Missouri Baptist, SCAD, who moved up from 10th to 7th, and Benedictine, Ave Maria, and of course Aquinas, who defeated Marian by 2 goals on Wednesday. Indiana Tech had a big win over Bethel to move themselves to 4-3 and 2-2 in the conference. First year in the WAC for Marian, formerly in the Big South, where they won the conference in 2019. And they will host the Wolverine Hoosier tournament this year towards the end of the month. Happy April Fool's Day to all you pranksters who celebrate.
Could see a lot of field hockey being played in that play here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tough to find a keeper for that 50-50 ball.
Battle for the ground ball. Maddie Dumke ends up with it. Tries to get it up to Caitlin Gray. Bit of an errant pass, and Brooke Buer is there again. Brooke Buer, one of these athletes on this field that just seems to be kind of everywhere, making plays as she sees fit. She's playing defense. She moves to midfield. We've seen her with 2 assists already today. Very dynamic athlete for the Warriors.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's a player you want on your team. Someone who's able to adapt to different positions, find their teammates, and ultimately play really selfless for the Warriors here.
Faith Donnelly loses that handle, but it stays with Indiana Tech. Off the stick there of Sarah Travis. Warriors trying to find themselves back within 1 goal. Marian holds this 2-goal lead. Better part due to their offensive specialists, including Ella Grace Geed and Ashlyn Gray. Here's Geed again.
A great check from the Warriors there. Madison Ash looking to slow things down. Again, exactly what you want from a crease player, able to really read the pace and know when her midfielders need a quick break to set something up.
10 seconds separate the shot and game clock, so if Marian wants to wind this down closer to the end of the quarter, they have that option. Caitlin Gray. Working down now behind X is Marian. Back over to Ash. Over top, trying to find somebody at the door. Eventually finds the stick of Ashlyn Gray. 30 seconds left in our quarter.
15 in the shot clock here. The Knights need to get the ball off. And the Warriors will not let them.
No way. Brooke Buer.
Wow. Some great defense there. You could see the Knights really trying to find each other, but ultimately just some great defense from the Warriors.
And they have advantage, but Faith Donnelly can't cash in as the time winds down and the end of the third quarter arises. The Marian Knights lead 10-8. A huge benefactor of a lot of great offense. Madison Ash entering the scoreboard amongst a whole bunch of others. Fourth quarter of action in a WAC battle here on ISC Sports Network. Coming up, we'll have a finish here after the break.
You have enough on your plate. Let McAllister Rentals' wide selection of equipment help. With an extensive equipment selection and experienced people, McAllister Rentals in the Cat Rental Store is your one-stop shop for all your equipment needs. You know we can help you with the big jobs, from moving dirt to getting you in the air. But did you also know that we can handle your smaller equipment needs with equipment like generators and water pumps? McAllister Rentals has made its mark with locations throughout Indiana and now Michigan. We pride ourselves on our reliable equipment, fast service, and knowledgeable people. Visit us online today or give us a call. McAllister Rentals, helping build Indiana since 1945.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business for 35 plus years. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Hey, Richard, what's the key to the growth over the last 35 years?
Pat, I believe being a family-owned local business that is involved in the community has a lot to do with it.
All right, so you have a lot of services. Tell us about some of those services.
We're really strong in the emergency services, smoke, fire damage restoration, storm and water damage restoration, all while working with your insurance company. We also do mold remediation, basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and roof repair. We are a full-service company.
All right, as to the owner, we know you wear a lot of hats. What do you do day to day?
I really love being out in the field working with our clients. It gives me a great opportunity to understand their needs so we can take care of them.
Your hands-on approach, I think, is a lot to do with the success of Michaelis. If you find yourself needing their services, give them a call anytime, 24/7 at 844-FIX-INDY. The Michaelis Corporation. Construct, renovate, restore.
10-8, our count at the end of 3 quarters, and the 4th quarter of action awaits here on ISC Sports Network. Alongside Rachel France, I'm Joey Lindstrom. So far, Rachel, in this second half, not as much scoring as maybe the first half indicated, but I'm sure we're in for a battle here to finish this thing out. Both these teams playing very physically. What do you expect out of this finish?
I think this is going to be the quarter to watch. It's only a 2-point game right now, and the fastest lacrosse goal from the draw can happen in about 7 seconds. That's a common thing any coach will say, especially probably the Warriors coach is talking about that right now. We've got 15 minutes to play and only a 2-goal deficit right now. They're both going to be looking to find the back of the net. Both goalies are going to be looking to defend very strongly. I think we'll continue to see some really physical play, as well as these battles back and forth, a lot of transitions as we go through these next 15 minutes.
Last year, Indiana Tech beat Marian 12-4, and that was just the second game of the year last year. Marian finished out 5-11, and we're now able to. They already have 8 wins this season, and certainly something that Alexis DiGiovanni took into consideration is that, look, we know it's not the same Marian team. We know they've been able to hang with some of the best the NAIA has to offer this season, and we have to be ready for that. And so far, that has been the case. As there's a goal to respond, Abby Wilson gets herself another tally and reaches within 1 for the Warriors.
That's a great play for the Warriors coming off. Just, again, you look at the clock, 24 seconds of work to find the back of the net for Abby Wilson there. Definitely what the coach wanted them to do is come out strong, come out with the first goal of the quarter, and again, look to get some momentum so they can go on a little bit of a scoring run and challenge the Knights here.
Her 16th goal of the season. The main player to watch at the draw. 22 draw controls coming into today. She's got herself 5 already today. Indiana Tech still leads at draw controls 15-7. It was once 12-3, so still getting themselves in a position to succeed there as CeCe Mason had a breakaway, but it's saved by Hirsch.
Yeah, you could see again that momentum right off the draw, looking to get a quick shot off on Katie Jo Hirsch there.
It's the final month of action for the regular season for both these teams. Trying to leave a mark on the WAC. Marian right now sits at 4th place in the WAC. Indiana Tech behind Marian in 5th. Both these teams capable of making a run in the WAC tournament, which will be played here at St. Vincent Field, here in Indy.
That's got to be such a fun opportunity for the Knights, too, to be able to host something like that. And definitely they're looking to play in it and have that home field advantage. See a lot of flip passes from the Knights trying to deceive those defenders. Get some free players at the top.
This is Maddie Dumke. Wiggles around, gets some room. Oberdorfer saves it. Gotta tip the cap to Oberdorfer. She is like gum on your shoe for this Marian team. Every time they have a great chance at the net, she seems to be able to disrupt that a little bit. As here's CC Mason with a breakaway and shovels it in.
A great little underhand shot there. You can see she brought the stick down across her body in front of her and was still able to get a lot of power from that. Those shovel shots are a little hard to get power off of, but she was able to snap her hands, and you can see her excitement. She chucks the stick down. She is pumped.
They love to see the energy, and now Indiana Tech has knotted it up at 10. 12:49 to play. A whole lot of ball game left.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, I mean, you look at both these teams, the way that they have conducted themselves when they've each been down by a couple of goals. They have fought their way back to tie it up. This has been an instant classic that we've awaited, and I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered for Marian's first lacrosse broadcast, too, because you want a game with as much excitement as can be. We are getting that here today.
Absolutely nothing better than a close lacrosse game. Scoring opportunities from both, turnover opportunities from both, a lot of assists. And with that last goal, some really pretty shots.
Now Indiana Tech with a little bit of momentum. Can they take advantage and take the lead?
Again, Marian playing that contact so far out from the 8.
That was an almost beautiful sequence on the right side of the crease for Indiana Tech, but the pass doesn't go, and here come the Knights. Ella Grace Geed works up, gets it to Ruby Mason.
You can see Anna Moore on the transition there, getting a good 40-yard run in from the defense.
Grace Martin has some space, has to switch hands, pulls it back out. Marian is starting system. Anna Moore gets it past Oberdorfer, and the Knights take the lead again.
I did
Anna
not
Moore,
know.
not a typical goal scorer for this team. None more impactful than that.
See a great pick from Ella Grace Geed there, and Anna Moore able to find, she found stick side on that goalie. It's a strong defender, and you can see her team, oh, well, there they are. Very excited for her.
Well, the shot wasn't a worm burner, but there are worms in the field. That is Anna Moore's first goal of the season.
That's awesome. And for a defender, again, we just saw her make a 40-yard run, dish it off to Ella Grace Geed, get it to Ruby Mason, and she just kept going, kind of giving one of the midfielders a little bit of a break there and capitalizing on it.
Just a sophomore from Carmel, Indiana, just north of Indy. She had 3 goals last season. Now gets her first of the year. None more important than that one to take the lead against Indiana Tech, where it felt like Marian was reeling a little bit. They now get that momentum back. Now a chance for Indiana Tech to tie, for Marian to extend their lead. Faith Donnelly, look what I found. Out in front, off the post, but the rebound, and KJ Hirsch stands tall for the save.
Phenomenal work on the rebound there. Again, just a team that will not quit. Their foot is on the gas, and they are pressing down even harder.
Big opportunity on the free position here for Indiana Tech. Hirsch, another save.
Pick up by Maddie Dumke there as well.
That was Jordan Donnelly on the free position. And now her and her sister giving trouble and chase to Maddie Dumke.
Again, that sister connection. Great for passes, great for assists, great for double teams. And both teams are benefiting from that here.
Right. Grace Geed up to Anna Moore. Can't quite handle it. And scooping that one up for Indiana Tech is Lexi Galini. Now Grace Geed again, and Marian trying to get back in system. 10:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Interfered with there by Kalisha Gilmore, and she's been everywhere defensively for the Warriors. If you're Marian here, are you comfortable just settling to try to work the ball around? Oh, is there some contact there? Or are you trying to go ahead and score immediately?
I think just with how much back and forth this game has had, I'm going to imagine that they're all a little tired. And you can kind of see that from more physical play. It's harder to keep your feet moving. It's easier to use your hands to defend, which leads to those calls. So I think settled is probably going to be the best opportunity to kind of wear down the defense, but also give your attacking unit some time to catch their breath, to get smart shots off. You can see, I think that's Caitlin Gray.
It is, yep.
She took her time before picking up the ball, kind of catch her breath again, recover from that contact before finding a shot.
Maybe get your defense out of position too if you go ahead and try to charge the net like that. As this is going to be Madison Ash with another free position. She's ready to rip, looks like at least. And she does. But Oberdorfer, another save. That's 11.
And a quick clear to Kalisha Gilmore, and a turnover.
Huge turnover. Ella Grace Geed takes advantage.
That's exactly what you want to do on those quick turnovers. The defense is still trying to find their places from the clear. Ruby was able to find Ella Grace Geed. Ella Grace Geed was able to find the back of the net. Both freshmen making an impact on this Marian team here.
And Alexis DeGiovanni is going to take a timeout. Indiana Tech brought the deficit back to even to get to 10-10, but Marian responding nearly immediately. Now 12-10, 10 minutes to go here in our fourth quarter. All right, it's sit rep time. You're Indiana Tech. What kind of things is Alexis DeGiovanni trying to implore to her team at this juncture? Now you've given up 2 goals after getting 2 goals.
Honestly, as a coach, I would assume she's talking about keeping control of themselves, keeping control of the defense, keeping control of the game. Because again, we're seeing just a lot of physicality, and it's 10 minutes left, this close of a game. We're going to continue to see more. So I know as a coach, she's trying to make sure that her team maintains composure and is able to continue finding themselves. So probably talking about moving their feet on defense, continuing to move their feet as they're making contact, and continuing their role on the draw circle. They're doing a phenomenal job of finding each other off of that draw. So then it's just maintaining possession, getting it into the offensive zone.
And what's been huge for Indiana Tech is their control at the draw. I think when you look at this team at the surface, 18-7 in that circle. They have created opportunities for themselves. Haven't always paid off. Regardless, you're still getting that. If you can consistently get that at a critical juncture like this, maybe that pays dividends for you. And this is the first time we're seeing Tori Farkas at the circle.
I think as a Marian coach, you're probably also thinking, okay, with that draw control stat, we got to change things up to see if we can get these draw controls in our direction.
Faith Donnelly catching it off the rip, and Indiana Tech, exactly what they needed. It was a solid effort at the draw, but losing it here, trying to get over her sister Jordan. Gets back to Marian. Jordan Donnelly giving some trouble, though, to Haley Irvin.
Really
gets
good
over Hirsch.
pressure. Really good pressure on the ride there from the Warriors, keeping the Knights for a solid 20 seconds back in their defensive end, burning some time on that shot clock, and capitalizing on a turnover.
No doubt. Indiana Tech had 0 caused turnovers headed into the halftime break, 7 this half. So they've certainly turned it on defensively. Marian has 19 caused turnovers. And if that holds and miraculously Kaiser doesn't get any caused turnovers this weekend, Marian will be first in the country.
Be
Donnelly,
incredible.
that shot, pass rather, goes through. And Hirsch, benefactor of that errant pass.
Not quite connecting on that there.
Donnelly working through, fights through contact, and it'll stay with Indiana Tech, of course, as she tries to go through.
A player that will stop at nothing. You can see the intensity in the way she plays, the way she holds herself, her mannerisms on the 8-meter here. I wouldn't want to go against her as a goalie.
2 goals today and gets the hat trick.
See her team celebrating.
Warriors goal.
1 goal closer to closing this deficit.
Back and forth we go. Indiana Tech back within 1. And Faith Donnelly, the junior from Hazlitt, Michigan. 4 goals against Bethel the other day. Now has 3 against Marian today. Ella Grace Gee, the leading scorer for the entire game with 4. Indiana Tech just 1 less shot on goal to Marian. Marian 23 shots on goal to Indiana Tech's 22. Of course, Faith Donnelly gets it there in the free position. Both teams 50% on their free positions as far as goals are considered. And it makes for a big impact when you can take advantage of those frees.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are defenders coming in to try to stop you, but getting that 1 extra step on them is huge.
That pass gets away a little bit from Ruby Mason. Is this the time for Indiana Tech now? Can they tie here? Brooke Buer. Been so good all day, getting her teammates in positions to succeed. Another stop and cheer. Shot clock hadn't run yet.
A lot of things to keep tabs on in a lacrosse game these days.
That's true. So she'll have it here at the 12.
It looks like it's indirect as well. So she'll have to make a pass. There it is. Before there's a shooting opportunity.
For Gusters. Back up top to Buer. At the door. A lot of contact. Somehow Hirsch ends up with it.
Wow.
I think that was Donnelly down there.
A great fight by the Warriors. I think she had 4 defenders on her, plus the goalie.
Jada Pope as well, also in the scrum. Now Ella Grace Gee. A lot of room in front of her.
We got 4-3 coming down in transition.
Ashlyn Gray can't cash in, but Marian retains possession. Ruby Mason. Tough pick from Ella Grace Gee. As Buer falls down, but we're still even.
And here we see that settled play. They started with the fast break.
Ashlyn Gray.
And capitalized on the settle.
Gets it to go, and she's got 4 goals as well. Extends the lead. A little more breathing room for Marian. 13-11 now.
And Ashlyn Gray started off with some injuries earlier this season. I'm sure the Knights are happy to have her back full strength, especially with a show like this, 4 goals on the day.
You really can't pinpoint one player that you need to stop from Marian. I think that's typical sometimes when with the NAIA level, I think sometimes teams can rely on one person to generate a lot of offense. With a Marian or even in Indiana Tech, there's 6 or 7 girls that can make an impact. Ashlyn Gray being one of the key impact players for this team and has been for the last couple of years. Senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Bishop Lures. And Indiana Tech, another draw control.
A lot of check there. Refs keeping a tight game.
Way across the way is Brooke Buer.
A lot of space.
Team closing in and falling down again. Hallie Reinhardt with contact.
I think that's going to be a yellow.
This will be a yellow awarded to Libby Taylor.
Yellow card issued to the Knights, number 10.
So this will release at 4:41, but it is releasable. So if a goal is scored here, Marian will be back to even strength.
Definitely a tough time for a yellow card with this tight of a game. But I know both teams are ready to step up and use this as an opportunity to either score or make a really strong stop and a turnover.
Going top shelf is Reinhardt.
Warriors goal.
And she's got a hat trick. Gets it back within 1 as well. I'm seeing 25 goals today so far. So impressive.
She's another player you just kind of see everywhere on the field, fighting as hard as she can for her team.
We've seen her shaken up a little bit today. We saw her on the trainer's cart getting her ankle taped up. She's back out there and letting it rip too, because that was a huge goal for Indiana Tech.
Yeah, the power that she's able to generate even after playing for 3.5 quarters here with some injuries, finding time that she's been fighting on the ground here.
Final 6.5 to play.
It's a Knights ball.
Caitlin Gray has a little bit of room to work with here. Can Marian take advantage? She's got contact from Reinhardt, no call. Kalisha Gilmore scoops it back up to Reinhardt. Can Indiana Tech clear? It's taken away by Moore. Back and forth we go.
Just a lot of checks there, a lot of contact. The tough thing for refs, each ref has a different role. They're watching a different part of the field, so even while somebody might think, oh, that was definitely a push, if the ref that was watching didn't have the right angle, it might not get called. Makes it definitely a tough job to be a referee with such a fast-paced game.
This is Madison Ash. Found Caitlin Gray, but a save by Oberdorfer.
It's a good quick shot and a great quick save.
Can that ignite this Warriors team? Another turnover caused by Sarah Travis. Full lane, but she gets pushed by Abby Wilson. Physicality all over the field today, but that's going to be a yellow for Abby Wilson.
You might notice that some of the contact, some of the pushes are not resulting in yellows. Some are. Oftentimes, the refs have to kind of make a judgment call. If a player is continuously getting those push calls after several, they'll just start calling them yellows, just to kind of send different players a message, because otherwise they'll play to the refs, right? You play to the whistle. That's what all of these athletes are taught, and they're doing a great job of doing that right now.
And this will be Sarah Travis at the 8-meter. And she's wound up, ready to go. Sophomore out of Noblesville, Indiana. Tries to get it past Oberdorfer. But again, Sydney stands tough. She's got 14 saves on the day.
A great clear from the Warriors there. Even player down, they're able to get the ball into their attacking zone.
Faith Donnelly.
Now this puts the Warriors in kind of a tough situation. They're player down, so they don't want to force a goal, but they're also a goal down, and they need a scoring opportunity. So we'll have to kind of see how they play this out. Oh. Looks like they thought there was an offsides, but didn't see the last defender over on the side there.
When you're a player down offensively and you need a goal at a point like this in the game, what do you kind of look to against the defense that you're playing against in order to take advantage as they work out the clock here?
Yeah, it's tough because no matter what, ball handler is going to be double teamed. Any good defense is going to recognize that, okay, we've got a player up, we can send a double no matter where. So I think the Warriors need to look for really quick ball movement so that there's no time for that double team to get set up, which is kind of tough with this inadvertent whistle call. It's given the defense some time to catch their breath as well as the offense. So we're going to be seeing some full strength defensive and offense as soon as the play gets started again. You can also see the Warriors are really, really spread out, trying to maintain possession and not let the Knights come put as hard of pressure on the ball carrier. Make them do some more running, tire them out.
I think everyone has their ducks in a row now, and we're set to play. Just over 4 minutes. About a minute and a half till Indiana Tech's penalty releases, unless they get a goal here. Bure works behind the cage.
So typically you don't see defenders going behind the cage like that, but because the Knights are a player up, they're sending a player back to put some pressure
That's
on
Ashlyn,
the Warriors.
Yeah, Ashlyn Gray getting that push. And now at the front, saved by Hirsch, at least deflected enough to get that out of the way. But another push by Marian.
Looked like that may have been some contact towards the face there. You can see her rubbing her eye. Maybe some turf in the eye. That's always a tricky thing with turf.
Oof, that's the worst.
Oh, it was a stick, yeah.
Inadvertent, yep.
Definitely
trying
not
to cradle
intentional.
through. So Marian does retain possession. Getting up to Maddie Dumpke. 3.5 to play. Marian still a player up. Ella Grace Geed.
Looking to find that open player. They got to wait for their numbers, though. You can see the midfielders kind of trickling in. Anna Moore, after playing some defense but capitalizing on a goal, finds herself in the midfield.
After getting her first goal of the season, she's on cloud 9. Wants to get, why not get another?
Of course. And as a coach, you got to recognize that and give her the space to shine here.
Out in front, Caitlin Gray. Can't get it to go. Oberdorfer is there, but a rebound there from Ella Grace Geed is wide of the cage as well.
No shortage of shots here from either team.
This is Deja Regusters. Indiana Tech causing another turnover for themselves as Bure pushes Ashlyn Gray there. And stay with Marian. And a timeout on the field taken by Allie Stork-Sneed. Trying to hold on. 2:16 left to play in our game here today. Now, if you're taking this timeout as Marian, you never want, of course, you're not trying to give up a goal. Are you trying to score or are you trying to milk the clock here?
Well, they have a whole 87 seconds on the shot clock and only 2:16 left. It's a tough call. Like you want to make a bigger gap. So just in case we find ourselves back in the defensive end for the Knights, it's not as big of a deal if the Warriors were to put another one back behind Katie Jo Hirsch. But I think Allie Stork-Sneed is probably going to be looking to kind of waste a little bit of time on this shot clock, but ultimately you never say no to putting another ball in the net.
I don't think anyone would be upset about that. That's for sure.
Definitely not. I think the Warriors are saying the exact similar thing. Coach DiGiovanni is probably saying, all right, it's time. You thought it was time before? No, it's time now. No. We put our foot on the gas now.
The time is now.
Find that next gear. You got 2 minutes and 16 seconds left to play.
Well, the impact that a win for both these teams has is huge. You get a win in the WAC to improve your standing, and as tournament time starts to inch closer and closer, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these two teams play again in that WAC tournament. And it would also help you in the polls, of course, but both these teams just focused on getting another win under their belt. Marian has played 11 games this year. Indiana Tech has only played 7. And Marian a little bit more seasoned. This will be huge for both programs to win. But another big picture item. Marian has never defeated Indiana Tech. This would be huge for the program and Allie Stork-Sneed just in her second season, but a turnover there isn't going to help Marian's cause.
And capitalizing quick on that for the Warriors, trying to get into their offensive zone. Could see them again, that wide attacking play, trying to pull Marian out of their comfort zone.
Faith Donnelly gets it about 6 yards out in front of the crease. Had to pull it back out. And a fight for the ground ball here. Deja Regusters wins that battle. Over to Reinhardt. Hirsch, great save. Ball still active. Pulled out nicely by Chase Searcy.
And we're at the same time with the shot clock and the game clock here.
And back to even strength, of course. So this is a
oh my goodness,
huge possession right here.
You can see the Knights calming it down right here. They're going to try to waste as much time on this shot clock as possible. And you can see the Warriors know that. So they're playing hard pressure everywhere. And it's paying off.
Jordan
great
Donnelly
turnover
on the run. Indiana Tech needs the goal to tie. Donnelly going to take it herself. Loses the handle. Ball's active on the ground, pushing and shoving across to try to get there.
Got 3 players on the ground.
Marian picks it up. Beautifully done by Sarah Travis. And Indiana Tech can't take possession back. It's Marian's ball.
25 seconds left. Marian's going to be trying to run this clock as much as possible. I'm going to guess that Grace is going to bring it right into the corner.
Yeah, who better to have this last possession than Grace Martin, one of your best ball handlers and offensive leaders.
In her last senior game here, last season as a Knight. A lot of contact there.
Yeah, but that'll
Clock's
do it.
ultimately
Clock's
gonna roll
run.
out.
And the Marian University Knights have conquered the Indiana Tech Warriors for the first time in program history.
A phenomenal game from both teams. Again, exactly what you want to see for a senior day and for this WAC conference. Just competitive teams playing just high-quality lacrosse.
Last year, the Warriors bested Marian 12-4. Marian has had a superstar comeback this season. 9-3 they'll move to. Indiana Tech will fall to 500 or 4-4. How did Marian get the job done today?
I think it comes a lot with stamina. Like, both teams had a lot of stamina. We saw them fighting no matter what throughout the weather, throughout the play of the game, the physicality, any calls from the refs that they might not have agreed with. They kept their heads up. They continued to play. But I think ultimately the Knights were able to find each other in that offensive end a little bit more than the Warriors were. And I think that's evident of their style of play, right? The Warriors are typically a drive and dodge happy team, whereas the Knights are used to kind of finding each other and threading the needle to find some good assists to some good goals and the back of the net. Defensively, both teams just so strong with great keepers in between the pipes, making some critical saves at just very important times throughout this game. but defensively as well, maintaining good body position, communicating together, and playing as units. Just a really great job from both teams.
And an incredible win. Historic win for Marian, getting the first win over Indiana Tech in its program history. Moved to 9-3 overall. Indiana Tech falls to 4-4, and they will host St. Ambrose on Monday, while Marian will host Lourdes on Wednesday evening. Incredible first broadcast of Marian women's lacrosse. Rachel France, great job. You did an excellent job covering all this and being a great analyst today for the inaugural broadcast. So congratulations on that. Congratulations to our crew here at ISC Sports Network, who did a fantastic job. Camera work, everything was delightful. Vincent Morales, our director, all incredible. So for Rachel France and our entire crew here at ISC, I'm Joey Lindstrom. Thank you so much for being with us. For the final score was the Marian University Knights 13 and the Indiana Tech Warriors 12. We will see you next time on the ISC Sports Network.
I've always liked Indianapolis. I've been interested in the bigger city life. The community and everything fell into place.
With my degree, I plan on becoming a pediatric nurse. Indianapolis has several hospitals and different options to choose from as to where I should go.
I chose Indianapolis because I love the Pacers, I love the Colts, and this is a basketball city. Just wanted to stay in the city, play in front of my friends and family, and try to give Marian my best.
Kind of teaching me the ropes here, and
yeah, I mean it's really, it's just you gotta get over a couple of things that are kind of like weird, and then you're just talking sports, you know.
Yeah. Do you know Tari, the official Lax girl, does a lot of like the big ESPN broadcasting games?
Yeah.
She plays. I play on an elite team with her. We're going to Portugal, and so I texted her. I was like, "Hey, got any tips?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, give me the link. I'll tune in." And
Okay,
I
nice.
told her no. Give me at least one practice one first.
A little bit of time.
Yeah.
Nice job, you two. That was fun. Yeah, that was
a
good time.
blast.
Thank you.
So much fun. Now I got pockets.
Yeah, no doubt. You gonna go down and say hi to Allie? Yeah.
I gotta say hi to all my little Knights players there. What? Basketball?
Hey guys. Anything beats that. Yeah.
And as friends of Allie's, both of you two are, I'm sure I'll probably see you considering our neighbors. So
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
hopefully maybe both of you on the 18th if our cards get played right, we're hosting a conference tournament game.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Do you think then? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
We got all the ads in too, so.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
From what Alex told me.
Oh, yeah, she's making stuff up. No, that was great. That was seriously great.
No, that was awesome.
Glad they got the win.
Yeah, me too.
Because, yeah.
Makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because then I have to walk
Winning is yours all.
Because when I see her, I'm like,